Good morning, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. I wish I was there with all of you in person right now, but because of COVID and the time difference, it just wasn't possible. When PWIC asked me to do this, I could not give up the opportunity just because I wanted to be with all of you and talk to all of you. So, in my current job, I'm usually one of the very few women in the room, and 99% of the time, I'm usually the only Pakistani. And I'm proud to be a Pakistani. Pakistan has given me an identity that I relate to. It's given me a rich heritage that I'm proud of. It's given me an education to stand on, and most importantly, it's given me a community to lean on. PWIC is very close to my heart because it also endeavors to create that community and support for people, everybody around everybody. And we are stronger as together than we are as individuals. Plus, PWIC gives me a forum to give back to my community. I'm currently the chief advisor to Microsoft's Chief Technology Officer, Kevin Scott. I get to be in conversations that talk about the future of technology and consequently the future of our lives and of the world. And I'm very optimistic about technology. Despite everything that we see with COVID, I have seen all the things that technology can do for you. It can help us be better people, it can help us achieve more, it can help us be happier and healthier. I want to share my journey because I want each and every one of you to know that I am one of you, that my journey can be your journey. So I want to tell you a story about a third grader who went to school in Beacon House, Peshawar, who devoured Enid Blyton books that she bought from the old bookshop in supermarket Islamabad, who had an unhealthy appetite for all things sweet, and who loved Barbies and wanted to be an astronaut when she grew up. My father was an army officer, my mother a school teacher. I had two younger siblings that I constantly fought with. I spent my childhood moving from one city to another. I have lived in Gujranwala, Sialkot, Quetta, Peshawar, Islamabad, Lahore. I spent most of my teenage summer vacations in Gilgit and Skardu because my father was posted there. It was a bittersweet day for me when I realized that I had lived longer in Seattle than I had lived in Lahore. And next year, I will have lived as much of my life in the US as I did in Pakistan. I actually got into technology by accident. I went to the Lahore University of Management Sciences, and at that time they had two majors only, computer science and economics. In the first quarter, they made everybody take all the courses. I took a course in C++, and I was really good at it. I was better than all the boys. It was love at first sight. After that, I never looked back. My life has been a series of lucky coincidences and of opportunities. Some of my peers in LUMS were applying to a company called Microsoft, and they convinced me to do it. The only reason that I did it was to prove to myself that I could. My interview was 5 miles from where I lived at the Avari, Lahore. I never wanted to move to the US. In fact, I dragged my feet for a year before I eventually came to Redmond. I joke sometimes that the only reason I moved was because my mother was trying to get me married off at the time. I've spent 19 years at Microsoft, which I'm told is unheard of in the younger generation. But that's the thing. Over 19 years, I've had many jobs. My career has had ups and downs. There have been times when I loved it and times when I hated it. Most people would consider my career to be successful. Even at Microsoft, most people would envy what I do. But it wasn't always smooth sailing. There were times when it wasn't going so well and points where I considered leaving. But some other opportunity always came up. Over the course of my career, I've been a developer, a product manager, a communicator and marketer. I've been a coach and mentor, and I've been a strategist. Sometimes I've been a counselor. I've done a whole bunch of things. I've done this both as an individual contributor, and I've led small teams and big teams. I have worked on many parts of the core platform, on kernel, shell, multimedia codecs, developer APIs. I've built mobile applications. I've gotten to work with a lot of partners. One of them was a small 34-person startup in Mountain View that all of you might have heard of called WhatsApp, to very big companies like Qualcomm, Facebook, and Twitter. For the past 3.5 years, I've been chief advisor to Microsoft's CTO. Together with my team, I help formulate Microsoft's technology strategy moving forward and make sure that we have operational rigor to succeed against that strategy. I get to work with the sharpest technical minds, and I interact with the smartest business people in the industry. On any typical day, I sit in meetings with Satya Nadella and other senior leadership of Microsoft, Reid Hoffman, even Bill Gates. And I'm also a mother to two beautiful daughters, a 5-year-old and a 1.5-year-old. There's no better time than right now to be in the technology industry. COVID and the pandemic world has just accelerated the digital transformation that is happening around us. Every industry now is a technology industry. Developers, program managers, designers, data scientists, analytics, and researchers are all very much in demand right now. Your career is a journey, and it isn't necessarily linear. And you don't have to have everything figured out. But it always helps to be goal-oriented on what you need for the next 3 to 5 years, because it helps give you focus and leads to momentum. Anytime you look for a new role, you should always look for the 3 things that you want to get out of that role, what you want to learn, and also about the 3 things that you can offer to that role, because somebody has to hire you. But it's always important to be focused on learning and growing, and every role is a step in your journey to where you want to be. And also know that most jobs are filled through referrals, not through applying on websites. And for that, it is very important to build your network, to have a community and to network before you actually need that job. PWIC is an amazing community just like that to help build you the connections, to know the companies that you want to work for and the people that you need to get to know. I was privileged to have very strong female role models when I was growing up. My mother was always a professional, so it never occurred to me that I wouldn't be one. My grandmother, my dadi, came to the US in the 1950s to do her PhD in psychology from the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. And she continued to work long into her old age. If you have been keeping up with the news, you know that the technology industry have a diversity problem. But growing up, I was blissfully unaware that computer sciences was a male degree. The first person I ever knew to have a computer science degree was my aunt, my Momani, who did this in the 1980s. I decided to wait a long time before I had kids. It was a personal decision I made. My mother had given up on me and had tied all her hopes for grandchildren with my younger siblings. This gave me time to focus on my career. Plus, I was petrified of having to take care of another human being. It also helped me do my MBA while working full-time. Waiting to have children did mean that while everyone else around me now has older children who are more self-sufficient, my 5-year-old and 1.5-year-old regularly interrupt me in meetings, especially now that we're all working from home.
Made a massive amount of improvement. Hi, Fatima's daughter.
I have to take days off when my nanny can't make it. And I regularly show up yawning in a meeting because my younger one kept me up at night. But you know what? I don't apologize for any of it. Women are afraid of children interfering with their career. And having a supporting husband like mine really, really helps. But it is important for me to be a good role model. Not just for all of you and the women out there, but also for my 2 daughters who know that it is completely okay to be a working mother. It is important to be true to yourself. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm not a stereotypical engineer. I don't code in my spare time. I don't play video games. And most days, I struggle to even turn on the TV in my house, though I blame my husband for that. But I love what I do. I live and breathe my work. And I very strongly believe that if you love what you do, you will be better at it. My boss, Kevin, always says that you should find a job that exercises your superpower rather than something that you might not be so good at, because you'll be able to be more successful and happier without putting in as much energy. A few final thoughts for you to walk away with. Treat every opportunity as a learning opportunity, including this one. Some of you will get further interviews and jobs through this. Some of you might not be as successful, but in either case, it's not a wasted effort. Take the opportunity to ask for feedback, to learn, to grow, to be better for next time. Be a lifelong learner. Be humble, be authentic and true to yourself, and be ambitious, because every setback will help you go further. Thank you so much. I wish you luck in your career journey.